Hello, welcome back. First show of the week. It's been a huge week. We got to see you guys on Saturday. Tell me where you went for the weekend. Did you see any live shows? Who did you catch up with? What are you listening to at the moment? Let us know in the comments. I know there was a little bit of sad news that came out today with Heather McKean passing away. It's such a big loss for the industry, and we're so grateful for everything that she did, paving the way for all of us to be able to do what we're doing, her and her family. We've had such a busy week. We had live shows here on the weekend. We had Jamie Lindsay playing in Launceston, and we had Josh Setterfield and Liam Brew and heaps of others playing in Mathina, and it all went really, really well. So it was good to see everybody there that I did get to catch up with. It was, lots of fun. Tell me where you guys were and what live shows you were at. Hi, Kaz. You well and truly beat us into the room tonight. You were, I think, 3 minutes ahead of us. I hope you're doing well and a little bit better. We're going to welcome Billie Rose into the room and have a chat to her about what's happening for the rest of 2024. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. I was saying to you before we went live, what month was it? Because I don't even know what month we're in at the moment. It feels like a little while though. It's been a big year for you.
It has been. It's been nice though. I think it's flown by, which I'm sure everyone would agree.
Yeah. It's been a really quick year. But at the same time, it's been a great year. Like, we've had lots of amazing music coming out. And if it goes quick, it means you're having a good time, doesn't it?
I hope so.
Oh, dear. So how have you been since we last saw you? What have you been up to? What have you been? I know you've released, you've got your EP out, and on the 8th of November you released Slaying Ghosts. But what else have you been doing since we last chatted to you? Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Anna Kelly. So I have released another song, I believe, or maybe it's been 2 since we last spoke. But I also got the opportunity to jump back in the studio with Garrett Cato again. Yes. So I did that a few months ago, which was great. Recorded 2 new songs, which I will release next year. Doing some songwriting, playing some gigs in Townsville, which is an hour and a half away from where I'm from, Charters Towers. So it's been good to be, doing that, meeting people at my gigs, working. I still have my job as a disability support worker. So I'm still working. And just keeping the funds coming to support the dream and, going from there.
You don't stop, do you? You're so busy, but you do have to keep funding it. Music is expensive, but it's worth it, I think, hopefully.
It definitely is. It's an expensive hobby, but making it work, and I'm very grateful for the support of my family as well.
Yes, yeah. Now, we were saying before, you're up in Charters Towers. How do you find it at the moment, music-wise? Because I know, you've had shows with Josie and a few other artists. There are quite a lot of artists around your area now. It seems to be growing musically up there.
Yeah, so Charters Towers doesn't do a whole lot of live music. I believe it's only one bar at the moment. However, Townsville at the moment is in a really popular phase of live music. They're really supporting it. I believe Tammy Moxon mentioned on one of her interviews, it might be because there's been an influx of army coming down to Townsville. So, it's been, I think everywhere's just sort of popping off, which is great for live music. So I'm really getting into that at the moment in Townsville. There's plenty of music, which has been great. But as far as getting gigs, it seems to not be too hard. I think there's plenty to go around. We're all on a pretty good roster at the moment with the gigs there, and all try and help each other out. And I had a gig last weekend with Josie at the Otherwise Bar, which was really awesome. It was an opportunity to sing my original music, which is, always great. Any chance to sing that, and I got to see Josie perform live with the band, which I've not seen in a while. So it was really to support her as well. She's in the same position I'm in. So it's nice. She gave me that opportunity as well.
It's beautiful, and I do love that about you guys in the North Queensland area, because you do support each other so much. And I know the industry, we're very good at supporting each other, but in your area, you're isolated. It's quite a unique spot, and you support each other's shows. You know, as you said, you roster it out, but you still go to see each other playing when you can. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. I definitely think, especially down in North Queensland, it seems to be quite a good environment, which is nice to be a part of.
And Queensland has a really big hunger for music, live music in general, any genres, I think, at the moment.
I think so too, which is great, especially post all the COVID stuff. It's really nice to see it coming back to life.
Getting back out there, definitely. There's lots of people coming into the room. Kaz said that she saw 8 shows on the weekend, and then off to Wangaratta Country Music Festival this week. 8 shows. Kaz, you're incredible. Wow. I don't know how you get around them all. And I'm not going to ask a favourite because I know that they would have all been amazing. But tell us who did you see in those 8 shows? Jan's popped in to say hello. There's lots of your Auntie Kelly. There's lots of people popping in. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody, and if you have listened to Slaying Ghosts, tell us what you think of it. As we're just saying, you've released a couple of songs this year, and on the 8th of November you released Slaying Ghosts, which is off of your EP. Tell us a little bit about how this song came about. Have you been sitting on it for a little while? Is there a reason you left it to release, in just now?
Yeah, so Slaying Ghosts was actually written 2 years ago, and it has been recorded and sat in my Dropbox for, pretty much 2 years. So the reason I did leave it a little bit longer was because the song is quite out of my comfort zone. If you have heard it, the production and stuff is a bit more on the heavy side, which is different from what I've done before. But I just love the song, and I kept going back to it, and I just thought, what I don't have to sound similar in every song. Why not branch out and get out of my comfort zone? And I think the messaging behind it is really relatable at the moment, which is about the whole ghosting scenario that seems to be trending, with relationships. So I thought, that's really happening at the moment, and I do love the song, and I'm proud of it. And so I thought, why let it sit? And with the past couple of years, I've been releasing quite similar styled songwriting, a bit more darker and stuff. So I thought, why not add them all together and close that era, I guess you could say, by wrapping up into an EP format. And Slaying Ghosts, I thought, is the perfect single to be the title track as well. And that'll sort of lead me into next year's releases. They're again a bit different, while still sticking to, my vibe altogether. I think it'll be nice to close the door on them and start a new chapter.
I love how you're thinking and compiling it together. It makes sense to me to do that. But I think the first thing I thought when I first listened to Slaying Ghosts was, I'm like, oh, this is you were pushing your boundaries, and you were experimenting, and that's the first thing that drew me to it. I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that again, and I love it. I think experimenting is good. I think it shows a different side of you.
Thank you. And I think that's the thing too. I had to think about, am I writing and recording a song for, say, the radio or for, the success of it, or am I doing it because it is art and I want to express those lyrics in that particular way? And I sort of had to sit back and think, okay, how will the song be perceived? Do I mind if it is a bit different? If it might not land with everyone, but then again, it might land with everyone. Like I'm not sure. So I just thought, why not do it? I have it there. It was ready. So I'm so glad I ended up listening to my heart and releasing it.
When you were writing the song, did it feel to you it was going to be that sort of the different sound? Was that something that you pictured straight away, or was that something that came as you sort of started to build it in the studio?
I think a little bit of both. When I was writing the song, I felt like there needed to be some type of grit to it. But it definitely exploded more when I was in the studio, and once Garrett and I sort of got talking, he said like, hey, do you trust me to do something a little bit different here? And I was like, go for it. And it felt so right in the time as well. So I think I would say I envisioned a bit of it, but it's hard to tell until you really are in that position in the studio.
Yeah, and it does, and I think that's really good to have somebody in the studio that says, "Hey, I want that." It's good to have someone that says, "Let's push your limits and let's see what you think." Because if you don't like what you do, you can always go back. You don't. It's not released to the world. You can change it again in the studio, can't you? But to have someone that gets you, but also is able to push you to that next level, is really cool as well. To trust them to do.
Yeah,
that.
definitely. And that's one thing I really admire about working with Garrett is he does get me to do things that, you know, I might not have thought of. And I think that's the beauty of working with someone and, you know, adding someone else on board to your artwork.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the whole point of it, isn't it? It's never a one-person thing. Never.
That's right.
Tell us a bit about the photos and things to go with it. Tell us a bit about your artwork, because I love these pictures. Tell us how that all evolved.
Thank you. Yeah, so I got these done again about 2 years ago with Cat Guts Photography is her photography name, but her real name is Chloe. So we went out to a lake. I was probably about 45 minutes outside of Brisbane because at the time I was living in Brisbane. And the first part of the day was shot inside and the second half was on this lake. And it was storming, complete storm. We were sat in the car like, we're going to have to can it. We're not going to get any photos. And then we just waited it out. And the sun peeked through just enough to get probably 20 minutes worth of photography in. So that's why, you know, it's a bit cloudy, a bit moody. And as you can see from Can't Bring Back the Dead's photo in the water, it's quite dark because it was still raining. And then once we got to these shots, the rain had sort of stopped and the sun come out. So we had like 4 seasons in one day, but I think it made for a really great memory. And yeah, I loved the abstract look of this particular photo. And I thought, you know, I've done the lot ones where you're always looking at the camera and stuff. And I wanted to be a bit more artsy, I guess, with this. And that follows on, you know, trying something new. So that's why I chose the single photo.
It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, Kaz. Oh, she's 8 Ball. She went to see 8 Ball.
I saw him in Tamworth. Great performance.
Oh my goodness. I love his songs and I love his lyrics. I think, how on earth does he come up with some of that stuff? It's so good. It's just this special way of thinking, I think. And Wangaratta should be great. They'll keep adding artists. The most you did in one day was 12 in Tamworth. I reckon Tamworth, there are days where I don't think I could even count the amount of shows that I go.
You go to bed dreaming about watching live performances.
Yeah, exactly right. And then you wake up thinking, which one am I at? What have I just missed? But talking to you, you know, hey, you know, you love going to Tamworth. You're not heading there this year, but I think it's important to not, like, for people to know we can't always get there because it is expensive. And to, you know, try and support us through music so that we can start doing a lot of these shows as well.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. And I think, yeah, Tamworth was something I had to unfortunately give a miss this January coming due to, the cost of everything, the cost of living, but also the cost of releasing music and a single with a campaign can be quite expensive. It's so worth it, but it is an expensive hobby, as we said before, and recording music, the flights to get down there, like I am living quite remote, being in Charters Tower, so just had to, you know, Kaz, do I want to bed down? That would be lovely. That would help. But unfortunately, it's come to the end of the year where a lot of shows are already booked, and you have to make that decision a bit early on in the year. And it is such a great experience. I've done it about 4 or 5 times, and I've loved it. It is, if you are an up and coming artist, I would totally recommend heading to Tamworth. But yeah, look, I would hope that I'll start saving and I'll be able to go in January next year now that I've got an EP out and, you know, can follow that up. But, just giving it a miss, unfortunately, this January.
And I think a lot of artists are this year, and I think we're all in that sort of same boat. We've got to work out, do we do it every second year or, you know, we've got to think of these things because there's so many beautiful festivals around, but it's still, you've got to get there wherever they are. Like, you've still got to travel, you've still got to get there. And the way that we do get there is by the support of amazing people following us, watching us on socials and buying merch and supporting music, which we have amazing fans in this country that do that very, very well.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit about what you've got for the rest of the year, because it's coming to an end really quickly. Are there any more places we can see you playing?
Yeah, so I've got 4 more gigs left for the rest of the year in December. So the first week of December, I'm playing along the Strand in Townsville at the Watermark and the Beach Hotel. And then the same venues the following weekend. So my last gig will be on the 15th of December, and then I will, pack up and relax for a little bit and, get straight back into it January.
What are you doing Christmas? Are you spending time at home, going away? What are you going to do?
We're going to Maggie Island. So that's an island just off Townsville. So we've got a Airbnb there. So we'll do Christmas there, and New Year's I have no plans yet. I played at a festival last New Year's, so I'm unsure what I'm going to do this New Year's yet.
It feels strange having it off, doesn't it? Like, what do I do? Yeah.
That's right. And it's so hot here. I remember last year wanting to, go out after my gig, and I was kind of like, I can't, it's so hot and I'm exhausted. So it will be a bit different. But looking forward to having some time off, and especially spending time with family, going to Maggie Island.
That sounds beautiful. I've never been, but it sounds absolutely lovely and relaxing. After
That's right. You got plans for Christmas?
Christmas, we usually do it at the farm. My cousins come over from the mainland and come down, and we go to the farm, and we do rock skipping competitions on the river. I never win ever. But that's okay, because I don't want to show them up. But we always do that. And then New Year's, well, that's my birthday. So I actually don't know what I'm doing either. I haven't got a clue this year. Usually it's either gigs or I go to bed early because I'm exhausted. There's nothing in between.
Double whammy, New Year's and your birthday. Well, you have to celebrate.
It's hard sometimes, and I do have to celebrate it, because usually, but I don't mind, because if I got gigs, it means I'm with friends. That's how I always look at it. It's my dream.
I love this comment.
Oh my goodness, I think that is fantastic. When we all win the lotto, that is what we've got to do. When we win
that
the
is
lotto.
Very kind. That would be awesome.
Perfect.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, Kaz.
I think that's a great idea. Accommodation, gee, wouldn't it be good if we could just make it more doable? We'd all go for the full 10 days. It'd be much more affordable and much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Mind you, we do still have a lot of fun, even though we go home broke. Very broke. But
broke with memories.
Exactly right. And we all get to see our friends and watch everyone perform, and lose our voices together. We all get to lose our voices. Before we do, I know that we always talk for so long. I'm sorry, but tell us a little bit about Slaying Ghosts. Is this the last single you're going to release for the EP? Is this sort of, you said you're wrapping it up because you've got new sound coming? Can we get the EP in a physical copy? What can we do to listen?
Yeah, so I've actually just sent off and finalized the EP. So it's currently being made right now. So I'm hoping I will have the physical copy in the next maybe two weeks. So once they're in my hands, I'm going to do a post and explain how you can get your hands on the physical copy. As far as streaming it now, it's available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music. So you can listen to it there. And yeah, that is the last song from the EP, which is the last 2 years pretty much summed up, my life summed up.
Yes.
And new music, new sound coming next year, which I'm very excited about. And yes, any support is so appreciated, and that it just comes from streaming the song, liking my Facebook page, giving me a follow, all that. It's very social media environment at the moment, so it is very helpful.
Very, very helpful. Tell us a little bit. So when you, as you said, you think that The Slaying Ghosts is a great title for the album. When you were putting that set list of the album list together, did you have it in that order for any particular reason, or was it just how it sort of panned out? Because I know a lot of artists have different reasons for the order of songs on an album.
Yeah, so Slaying Ghosts is obviously the top one because it is the title track. And then I believe I'd have to look. What have I got next? Is it Can't Bring Back the Dead?
I think it is.
Let's have a
There we
look.
go.
No,
Heartbreaks.
Heartbreaks Are Waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, not a whole heap of thought went into the actual, what would you call it? The
list.
what do you call
I guess.
that? The list of the songs. There we go. We're being real here. But I wanted Slaying Ghosts to be first because it is a title track, and Black Dress isn't about any type of love. It is purely about alcohol-induced anxiety, my own experience with that. So I just wanted that on the bottom. And then I guess the other 3 songs are a lot about, failed relationships and all that type of thing. So I guess you could say Heartbreak Sour Train is a lot slower and more, a bit more, I guess, just slower. So I that first, and then and then after that comes Can't Bring Back the Dead, I think, and then Label Me a Killer. So they're sort of more in the same vibe. So a little bit of thought went into that, but to be so honest, I didn't think too far into the lyrics of what goes where, because they are written at separate times in my life. But I definitely knew that Black Dress to be at the bottom because it is a whole different vibe as well.
It's always interesting because some people put, and I think it depends, as you said, like you wrote them quite separate times, whereas if you write them all in a short span, they probably tell a different story because they sort of tie into one another.
They might be a bit more linked.
Yes, yeah, and I love how you have grouped these songs together. As you said, they're a bit of a different sound. You've explored some darker topics and the way of expressing yourself, and then next year another sound again. How you said you've been in the studio recording. Have you been writing in a certain style, or have they just been different as well each time you've been writing for the next lot of release?
I think this time I sort of just went in the studio with the thought of let's just make music and see what comes out. Not so much I want it to sound a particular way for a particular reason. Like I really did just let Garrett and I have free reign to explore, which I have done in the past as well. But these songs were written, one of them was written over in Nashville when I went over there, and it sounds completely different to the way I wrote it because I think, I just wanted to explore a different sound again. And, I think I sort of looked into more what I was singing about in the lyrics and went off that rather than wondering what it was going to sound like. I sort of just wanted the lyrics to make their own decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I love how people have different arts and different ways of doing it. I love hearing how you think about it and how you write to it because everybody's so different, and that's what's so good about music.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, wow. I'm trying to even think now. I had a really good question a minute ago and it slipped my mind because I was reading a comment and I was listening to you. I know it will come back. With the new songs coming, if people see you live, are you testing those ones out on the stage at the moment?
Yeah, sometimes I throw them into a gig. Sometimes I don't, but I tend to just a bit depends on the night, I suppose. I'll put them in, but I think over on my TikTok, I did a little sneak peek a few months ago of one of the songs, just to trial it out, and then I think it was even before I went into the studio and recorded it. So I tend to do little things. I feel a bit more probably comfortable on TikTok doing that. So, I think it's just one of them that I've sort of put up on social media. But other than that, just at gigs, or I've showed a couple people in my life, like family.
Yes. Yeah. Do you get honest opinions from them? Do they give you? Do they sit there and say, that's so good, or that's really good?
Because you need honest feedback. So, I definitely get that from them, which I appreciate.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're not rude about it. It's just about telling you what works or maybe this part needs to change, or and it's
That's it. And it's constructive feedback, and sometimes it's something that you're already thinking anyway, but you just needed, it confirmed.
Yes, absolutely, exactly. And have you got in the works any film clips coming at the moment, or holding off on those?
No, I don't. I haven't got anything booked or anything, but I think at the moment a visualizer, they call it, is quite in. And it's a lot cheaper to do it that way rather than having the full arts and actors and all of that type of stuff. So I am looking at doing something like that. However, I did film all 4 songs off the EP in an acoustic version way that I am planning on releasing one at a time, so that you can sort of see what it sounded like in the beginning before the production, and it at its rawest form. So that will be sort of, I guess, like a visual to put to the song. And then, maybe down the track I will look at doing a film clip. But at this stage, I'm just sort of really enjoying stripping it back to being a lot more real.
I love that. I love anything acoustic where you can hear the songs where they've
Me
come from.
too.
Special. And it's becoming more and more common, because I think people are really enjoying that. Yeah, really enjoying that style of music at the moment. It's like that songwriting around. You hear where it came from, where the storyline came from, and then they go into playing the song on guitar. And it's just, I don't know, I think people connect to it really well doing it that way.
Yeah, they're my favorite type of shows to watch, especially songwriter rounds, because like you said, you get to hear the story, you get to hear the song at its purest form, how it sounded back when it first was written. And that's what I wanted to do with my with these videos. So hopefully that all works out and people agree that it sounds just as nice without all the production. But I think if a song can stand on its own with just you and your guitar, then it's a pretty good song.
You can't go wrong then, can you? What did Kaz said? Her reviews are totally biased, so you never say anything harsh, but you do offer constructive criticism. And I think, Kaz, I've never read a review that I'll go, oh my gosh, that's awful to say. You do give constructive criticism, and you are very honest about what works and what doesn't work in a song. And I think that's why people love your reviews that you do. Have you read some of Kaz's reviews before?
I haven't.
You have to put the link there for us, Kaz, so that you can have a look afterwards, because her reviews
check it out.
They're really good. And Songwriters in the Rounds are Kaz's favorite. They're my favorite.
They are.
Yeah, especially when you've got a couple of artists that you might, especially ones that I might not know well, and I know the song and I know the recorded version. If I don't know them well, I don't necessarily know the full story behind it. So I find sometimes the songwriter in the round makes me connect to it and understand it a lot more than if I don't know them well.
That's right. Sometimes you can go to a songwriter round where the person sings a song that you know, but you didn't realize they wrote it. So that again is pretty cool when that happens.
Yeah, I love that. And it's amazing, isn't it? Because there's so many songs that you think you know who wrote them and then you don't. It's like, I need to really put my head. Thank you so much for jumping on. I'm sorry, I know we've taken half an hour of your time.
No, that's all right. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. We love having you. Before we go again, though, best social media platform for you, for people to watch and get your music. Is there any preferred? I know you do a lot of TikToks at the moment.
I don't do a lot of TikToks. I'm trying. I would just say all of them, whatever you prefer. I try to pretty much keep all of them up to date on the same level. So Facebook is Billie Rose, BILLIE, and then over on Instagram is billie.rose_. And then those videos will be uploaded to YouTube, and obviously I will throw up a sneak peek on Facebook and Instagram. So pretty much what you prefer, but same with listening, however you listen to your music.
Yes, absolutely. But YouTube is a really good one to subscribe to, because in Australia we don't subscribe to YouTube very often. It doesn't cost, but you get reminders. If anyone puts a new video up or a new song up, it'll tell you. If you haven't subscribed to it, it won't. So it doesn't cost to subscribe, but it does help you, and it helps the artist to know that people know it's there. and we're not as good at it as we are on social media yet, but I think the sound is a lot better. Definitely. And I mean, for me, when I listen to a clip on YouTube compared to Facebook or social media, I find the sound's a lot clearer on the YouTube versions.
The quality.
Yeah. So if you really like to have a good quality sound, jump over there and subscribe to each of the artists. Just make sure it's their real one, because there are some that say topic and that's not the artist's real page.
That's it.
Look, yeah, make sure it's the right one. And if you're not sure, send us a message. We'll point you in the right direction as well. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have an amazing Christmas while you're away.
Thank you too. And a happy birthday for New Year's.
Thank you. And I will see you very soon in the new year with new music, I hope.
You will. Thank you. Thanks for joining everyone that joined.